The unexpected encounter. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the UNS Resilience, watching the endless expanse of stars through the main viewport. The exploration vessel had been traveling through uncharted space for 3 months, mapping new systems and searching for habitable worlds. Elena had commanded the Resilience for 7 years, and she knew every sound the ship made, every vibration that ran through her hull. Today, something felt different. The Resilience was not a warship. She was built for exploration and scientific research, equipped with advanced sensors and laboratories, but only basic defensive systems. Her crew of 85 specialists were scientists, engineers, and explorers, not soldiers. They had ventured farther from Earth than any human ship before them, driven by humanity's eternal curiosity about what lay beyond the next star. Commander Marcus Chen, Elena's second-in-command, approached from the tactical station. His usually calm demeanor showed signs of concern as he studied the data pad in his hands. Marcus had served with Elena for 5 years, and she trusted his judgment completely. When he looked worried, she paid attention. "Captain, we're picking up some unusual readings on the long-range sensors," Marcus said quietly. "Dr. Okafor wants you to see this immediately." Elena nodded and followed Marcus to the science station, where Dr. Sarah Okafor was hunched over her instruments. Sarah was the ship's chief science officer, a brilliant woman who had dedicated her life to understanding the mysteries of the universe. Her dark eyes were wide with a mixture of excitement and fear as she looked up at her captain. "Captain, you need to see this," Sarah said, her Nigerian accent thick with emotion. "We're detecting a massive energy signature approximately 2 light hours ahead of our position. The readings are unlike anything in our database." Elena studied the sensor display. The energy patterns were enormous, far larger than anything human technology could produce. More disturbing was the organized nature of the signatures. They weren't random stellar phenomena, but clearly artificial constructs arranged in a deliberate formation. "How many individual sources are we looking at?" Elena asked. Sarah's fingers danced across her controls, refining the sensor data. "Captain, I'm reading 73 distinct energy signatures. Each one is at least 10 times larger than our ship. They're arranged in a perfect spherical formation around what appears to be empty space." The bridge fell silent. Every crew member understood the implications. 73 massive ships could only mean one thing. They had encountered an alien fleet. Elena felt her heart rate increase, but she kept her voice steady. First contact protocols existed for this situation, but no training could fully prepare someone for this moment. "Lieutenant Petrov, begin recording everything for the archives," Elena ordered. "If this goes badly, Earth needs to know what we found out here." Lieutenant Alex Petrov, the ship's communications officer, was barely 25 years old and had never expected to be part of first contact with an alien species. This was supposed to be a routine exploration mission, his first assignment after graduating from the academy. His hand shook slightly as he activated the recording systems. "Recording initiated, Captain," Alex reported, his voice cracking slightly. Elena placed a reassuring hand on the young officer's shoulder. "Steady, Alex. Whatever happens, we represent all of humanity today. We need to show them our best." Commander Chen was already running tactical assessments. "Captain, if those ships are hostile, we don't stand a chance. Our shields and weapons are designed for asteroid deflection and basic defense against pirates, not military engagement with an advanced alien fleet." Elena knew Marcus was right, but running wasn't an option. The alien fleet was positioned directly in their path, and their sensors would have detected the Resilience by now. Besides, humanity had always believed that first contact should be handled with dignity and courage, not cowardice. "Dr. Okafor, what can you tell me about their technology level?" Elena asked. Sarah was still analyzing the sensor data, her scientific mind trying to process information that challenged everything she thought she knew about physics. "Captain, their energy output suggests technology centuries ahead of ours. The power readings from their smallest ships exceed our entire fleet back home. And there's something else." What is it? The formation they're maintaining requires precise coordination across vast distances. The level of technological sophistication needed for this kind of fleet maneuver is staggering. These aren't primitive aliens, Captain. This is an advanced spacefaring civilization. Elena absorbed this information. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer, and it was both thrilling and terrifying. The aliens possessed technology far beyond human capability, but that didn't necessarily make them hostile. First contact protocols emphasized peaceful communication and cultural exchange. Lieutenant Petrov, prepare a standard first contact message, Elena ordered. Universal mathematical concepts, basic scientific principles, and peaceful intentions. Let's see if they want to talk. Alex's training kicked in, overcoming his nervousness. He had studied xenolinguistics and first contact protocols extensively. Message prepared, Captain. Transmitting on all frequencies. The crew waited in tense silence as their greeting traveled through space toward the alien fleet. Minutes passed like hours. Elena found herself thinking about Earth, about the billions of people who had no idea that humanity was about to make contact with an alien civilization. Whatever happened here would change the course of human history forever. Captain, we're receiving a response, Alex announced, his voice filled with awe and fear. Put it through, Elena ordered. The main screen flickered and displayed an image that made several crew members gasp. The alien was tall and imposing, with silver-blue skin that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. Its eyes were large and completely black, reflecting no light. Most unsettling was its expression of complete contempt as it regarded the humans. When the alien spoke, its voice was deep and resonant, but the words were clearly in perfect English. Primitive creatures of the third planet of star Sol 3. I am Supreme Admiral Zethkira of the Galactic Hegemony. You have entered space claimed by our empire for over 50,000 of your years. Elena stepped forward, making sure she was visible on their transmission. I am Captain Elena Vasquez of the United Nations ship Resilience. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship between our species. The alien's expression didn't change. Peace is irrelevant. Your species has been observed and evaluated. You are a young, violent race that spreads across worlds like a plague. The hegemony has decided that humanity poses a potential threat to galactic stability. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. We're explorers and scientists, not conquerors. Surely we can find common ground for coexistence. Zethkira's laugh was like the sound of grinding metal. Coexistence. Your species will serve the hegemony or be eliminated. Those are the only options. We have conquered 437 worlds. We had eliminated 63 species that refused to submit. You will surrender immediately, or your entire species will be destroyed. The bridge was silent except for the hum of ship systems. Elena looked at her crew, seeing fear, but also determination in their faces. These people had dedicated their lives to exploration and discovery, not war, but they understood what was at stake. What exactly are you demanding? Elena asked. Total surrender of your species. All human worlds will become property of the hegemony. Your people will serve as laborers and soldiers in our expansion across the galaxy. Resistance will result in complete extermination. Elena felt anger building in her chest. Humanity had fought for centuries to overcome slavery, oppression, and tyranny. They had built a civilization based on freedom, knowledge, and cooperation. The idea of surrendering that to an alien empire was unthinkable. And if we refuse? She asked. Then you will be eliminated, starting with your ship and continuing until every human world is reduced to ash. The choice is yours, Captain Vasquez. Elena looked around the bridge at her crew. Marcus Chen stood ready at the tactical station, prepared to follow whatever order she gave. Dr. Okafor was frantically analyzing the alien technology, trying to find any advantage. Lieutenant Petrov was pale but steady, maintaining communication links. These people trusted her to make the right decision, even if it meant their deaths. I need to consult with my crew, Alina said. You have one of your hours to decide. After that, we will assume your answer is refusal and act accordingly. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Alina looked at each of her officers, seeing the weight of humanity's future in their eyes. Well, people, you heard the ultimatum. Thoughts? Commander Chen spoke first. Captain, we can't possibly fight 73 warships, but we also can't surrender our entire species to slavery. Dr. Okafor looked up from her analysis. Captain, I've been studying their fleet composition. It's clearly designed for conquest and subjugation. These aren't peaceful explorers. They're an empire built on the domination of other species. Lieutenant Petrov cleared his throat nervously. Captain, what if we try to bargain for time? Maybe we can negotiate terms that buy Earth time to prepare defenses. Alina considered their options. Surrender meant the end of human freedom. Fighting meant certain death for her crew, and probably wouldn't help Earth in the long run. But there was a third option, one that appealed to her sense of honor and duty. There's something else we could try, Alina said slowly. In the historical records of many Earth cultures, there are traditions of single combat to resolve disputes. If these aliens are truly an ancient empire, they might have similar customs. Marcus looked skeptical. Captain, you're suggesting we challenge them to single combat. Our ship against one of theirs. It's worth asking, Alina replied. If they have any concept of honor or fair play, they might accept. It would give us a chance, however small, to avoid both surrender and total annihilation. Dr. Okafor nodded slowly. Actually, Captain, that might work. Ancient civilizations often had complex codes of honor regarding warfare. If the hegemony is as old as they claim, such concepts might be important to them. Alina made her decision. Lieutenant Petrov, open a channel to their flagship. The screen flickered back to life, showing Supreme Admiral Zethkera's contemptuous face. Have you decided to surrender, human? No, Alina said firmly. But I have a proposition. In the traditions of many civilizations, disputes can be resolved through single combat rather than mass slaughter. I challenge your fleet to single combat. One ship against one ship. If we win, you leave human space alone. If you win, humanity will consider your terms. The alien's expression changed for the first time, showing what might have been surprise. Several other aliens could be seen in the background, apparently engaged in urgent discussion. You would risk the fate of your entire species on single combat? Zethkera asked. Yes, Alina replied without hesitation. The alien was quiet for a long moment. Then its mouth curved into what might have been a smile. Interesting. No species has ever made such a request. Very well, human. The ancient laws of the hegemony do provide for trial by combat. I accept your challenge. Alina felt a mixture of relief and terror. She had bought humanity a chance, but now she had to figure out how to win a fight against impossible odds. Choose your champion, Supreme Admiral. Zethkera's smile became more pronounced. I will send the Devastator, commanded by war leader Thekmor. He has never lost a battle in 3 centuries of service. Your ship will face his in single combat. Prepare yourself, human. In 2 hours, you will discover why the hegemony has ruled the galaxy for 50 millennia. The transmission ended, leaving Alina and her crew to prepare for a battle that would determine the fate of humanity itself. The battle that changed everything. The next 2 hours passed in a blur of desperate preparation aboard the UNSO Resilience. Alina watched through the viewport as the massive alien fleet repositioned itself into a perfect sphere around their location, creating an arena in space that stretched across millions of kilometers. Each alien vessel was a monument to advanced technology and military might, their dark hulls bristling with weapons that could vaporize the human ship in seconds. Commander Chen had taken over the tactical preparations, working with the ship's engineers to modify their limited defensive systems. Captain, we've rerouted power from all non-essential systems to the shields and weapons. Dr. Martins thinks we can boost our particle beam output by 30%, but only for about 10 minutes before the systems overload. Dr. Sarah Okafor looked up from her science station, her face grim with determination. "Captain, I've been analyzing the energy signatures from the alien fleet. Their championship is massive, probably 5 times our length and 10 times our mass. But there's something interesting about their technology." Elena moved to the science station. "What did you find?" "Their systems are incredibly advanced, but they're also ancient. The power signatures suggest technology that's remained unchanged for millennia. They rely on brute force and overwhelming firepower rather than innovation or adaptability." "That might be our only advantage," Elena mused. "They've been winning through superior technology for so long that they might not expect creative tactics." Lieutenant Petrov called out from the communication station. "Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from the alien champion." "Put it through." The main screen displayed a new alien, different from Supreme Admiral Zethkara. This one was larger and more heavily built, with scars covering its silver-blue skin. Its black eyes burned with an intensity that made several crew members step back instinctively. "I am War Leader Thek Mor, commander of the Devastator," the alien said in a voice like grinding stone. "I have destroyed 612 enemy vessels in single combat. Your primitive ship will be number 613. Elena stepped forward, meeting the alien's gaze without flinching. "I'm Captain Elena Vasquez. I've never lost a ship under my command, and I don't intend to start today." Thekmor's expression showed something that might have been amusement. Brave words from a member of such a young species. "Tell me, human, have you ever seen a world burned from orbit? Have you watched entire civilizations reduced to ash and dust?" "No," Elena replied calmly, "but I've seen what happens when people refuse to give up hope. That's something you might not understand after 50,000 years of easy victories." The alien war leader leaned forward on the screen. "You interest me, human captain. Perhaps I will make your death quick as a reward for your courage." "You'll have to catch us first," Elena said. Thekmor's laugh was like the sound of metal tearing. "Begin when ready, human. Show me what your species can do when faced with true power." The transmission ended, and Elena turned to face her crew. Every person on the bridge was looking at her with a mixture of fear and absolute trust. These people had followed her to the edge of known space, and now they were prepared to follow her into a battle that would determine humanity's future. "All right, people," Elena said, her voice carrying the confidence of a leader who had never let her crew down. "We're about to do something that's never been done before. We're going to show an ancient galactic empire that humanity doesn't back down from bullies, no matter how big they are." Through the viewport, they could see the alien champion emerging from the fleet. The Devastator was a monument to destruction, its black hull covered with weapon emplacements that pulsed with deadly energy. It was easily 5 times longer than the Resilience and bristled with enough firepower to destroy a small fleet. Dr. Okafor called out from her station. "Captain, I'm detecting massive energy buildup in their primary weapons. They're preparing to fire." Elena gripped her command chair as the bridge lights dimmed to red. "Evasive maneuvers, full power to engines. Let's see how well that giant ship can track a target that refuses to fly in a straight line." The Resilience suddenly accelerated, her engines roaring at maximum output. Elena felt the familiar sensation of being pressed back into her chair as the ship's inertial dampeners struggled to compensate. The exploration vessel might not have been designed for combat, but she was fast and maneuverable. The Devastator opened fire with weapons that painted space in brilliant colors of death. Massive energy beams swept across the area where the Resilience had been moments before, each one capable of cutting through the human ship like paper. But Elena had anticipated this, and the Resilience was already spinning the way in a complex, evasive pattern. "Their targeting systems are designed for large, slow-moving warships," Marcus Chen observed from the tactical station. "They're having trouble tracking our movement." Elena smiled grimly. "That's exactly what I was hoping for. How are our weapons?" "Charged and ready, Captain. But at this range, we're not going to do much damage to their hull." Then we need to get closer, Alina said. Plot a course directly toward their ship. Maximum acceleration. The bridge crew stared at their captain in shock. Flying directly at the enemy was exactly the opposite of what any sane tactical doctrine would recommend. But Alina had spent years studying military history, and she knew that sometimes the most unexpected action was the most effective. Captain, Marcus said carefully, flying straight at them will make us an easy target. No, Alina replied, it will make us unpredictable. They expect us to try to stay at maximum range and snipe at them with our weapons. They don't expect us to charge directly into their guns. The Resilience changed course, her engines straining as she accelerated directly toward the massive alien warship. The Devastator's weapons tracked their movement, firing continuously, but the human ship's erratic flight path made targeting difficult. Several energy beams passed close enough to the Resilience to overload sensor systems, but none scored direct hits. Dr. Okafor was monitoring the alien ship's systems as they closed the distance. Captain, I'm detecting something interesting. Their weapons have tremendous range and power, but they seem to have a minimum effective range. They're designed for long-distance combat. Alina's smile widened. Just like ancient naval warfare, the big ships with the heavy guns were vulnerable to smaller, faster vessels that could get in close. The distance between the two ships rapidly decreased. The Devastator was firing everything it had, turning space around the Resilience into a deadly light show of energy weapons. The human ship rolled and twisted through the barrage, her shields sparking and overloading but somehow holding together. Shields down to 40%, Marcus reported. We can't take much more of this. We don't have to, Alina said. Fire all weapons, target their weapon emplacements. Full spread, everything we've got. The Resilience's modest weapons opened fire, sending streams of particle beams and antimatter torpedoes toward the alien ship. The weapons were tiny compared to the Devastator's arsenal, but they were precise and well-aimed. Several particle beams struck the alien ship's weapon emplacements, causing secondary explosions that sent debris spinning into space. War Leader Thekmore's voice crackled over the communication system. Impossible. How can such primitive weapons damage the Devastator? Alina activated the comm system. Because we're not trying to destroy your ship, War Leader. We're trying to disable it. There's a difference between power and precision. The Resilience was now close enough to the Devastator that the alien ship's massive weapons couldn't effectively target them. Alina had counted on this, hoping that the aliens' reliance on overwhelming firepower would leave them vulnerable to close-range tactics. Continue targeting their weapons, Alina ordered. Disable their ability to fight. Don't worry about destroying their hull. The human ship danced around the massive alien vessel like a fighter circling a heavyweight boxer. The Resilience's weapons were small but accurate, systematically disabling the Devastator's gun emplacements one by one. The alien ship tried to bring its weapons to bear, but it was too large and slow to track the rapidly moving human vessel. Dr. Okafor suddenly called out with excitement. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy fluctuations in their primary reactor. I think our weapons fire has caused a cascade failure in their power systems. Alina felt a surge of hope. Are you sure? Positive, Captain. Their reactor is going critical. They're losing power to their weapons and engines. Through the viewport, they could see the lights on the Devastator beginning to flicker and dim. The massive alien warship, which had seemed invincible just minutes before, was now drifting helplessly in space as its systems failed one by one. Lieutenant Petrov's voice was filled with amazement. Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from War Leader Thekmore. Put him through. The alien war leader appeared on screen, his expression showing something that Alina had never expected to see. Respect. The contempt and arrogance were gone, replaced by the acknowledgement of a warrior who had met his match. Captain Vasquez, Thekmore said slowly, in 3 centuries of warfare, no enemy has ever defeated the Devastator. You have accomplished something that I believed impossible. Helena kept her voice steady. though she could feel her heart pounding with relief and triumph. Your ship is disabled but not destroyed, War Leader. Your crew is alive. We could have targeted your reactor directly, but we chose to spare your lives. Thekmore's black eyes widened. You spared us? Why? Because we're not conquerors, Alina replied. We're explorers. We came here seeking knowledge and friendship, not death and destruction. The alien war leader was quiet for a long moment, processing this information. I do not understand your species, human. You had the chance to destroy us completely, yet you chose mercy. That's what makes us different, Alina said. We believe that strength comes from knowing when not to use power, not just from having it. Supreme Admiral Zethkara's voice suddenly crackled over the communication system. Impossible. The Devastator has never been defeated. This cannot be happening. Alina turned to address the alien fleet commander. The terms of our agreement were clear. Supreme Admiral. Single combat to determine the fate of our species. Your champion has been defeated. Zethkara's image appeared on screen, his expression showing a mixture of rage and confusion. You actually won. In 50,000 years of conquest, no species has ever. Every winning streak has to end sometime. Alina interrupted. Now will you honor your agreement and leave human space in peace? The alien fleet commander stared at her for a long moment, then looked at something off-screen. Alina could hear other aliens in the background, apparently engaged in urgent discussion. Finally, Zethkara turned back to the screen. The ancient laws of the hegemony are clear, he said reluctantly. Trial by combat has been satisfied. Your species has earned the right to exist without interference from our empire. Alina felt a wave of relief wash over her, but she kept her expression neutral. And the terms of our agreement? Humanity will be left alone. Yes, Zethkara said, his voice carrying grudging respect. But know this, Captain Vasquez. You have done something unprecedented. Word of this battle will spread throughout the galaxy. Other species will hear that a young race defeated the hegemony in single combat. Your species will be watched with great interest. We hope to meet other species as friends and allies. Alina replied. Humanity has much to offer the galaxy, and much to learn from others. Zethkara nodded slowly. Perhaps. War Leader Thekmore speaks truly. Your species is different. We will honor our agreement, but we will also remember what happened here today. The massive alien fleet began to move, their ships breaking formation and accelerating away from human space. Alina watched them disappear into the darkness, taking with them the immediate threat to humanity's survival. Dr. Okafor broke the silence that had fallen over the bridge. Captain, we did it. We actually did it. Alina turned to look at her crew, seeing faces filled with amazement, relief, and pride. These people had faced impossible odds and found a way to victory through courage, creativity, and determination. They had proven that humanity deserved its place among the stars. No, Alina said quietly, we all did it. Every person on this ship, and everyone back on Earth who made this mission possible. Today, humanity announced to the galaxy that we're not going anywhere. Commander Chen was running damage assessments. Captain, the ship is battered but intact. We can make it home with full data on everything that happened here. Alina nodded. Set course for Earth, Marcus. We have a report to make that's going to change everything. As the Resilients turned toward home, Alina thought about the future. First contact with an alien species had been everything humanity had hoped for and feared. They had avoided enslavement and destruction, but they had also learned that the galaxy was a dangerous place filled with ancient powers and hidden threats. But they had also proven something important. Humanity might be young and relatively primitive, but they possessed something that thousands of years of easy victory had cost the hegemony. The ability to think creatively under pressure, to find solutions that others couldn't imagine, and to show mercy even to enemies. The echo of their defiance would spread throughout the galaxy, carrying the message that humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. Not as conquerors or slaves, but as equals who had earned their freedom through courage and determination. Alina smiled as she watched the stars ahead, knowing that this was not the end of humanity's story in space, but merely the beginning of a much larger adventure.